Hello everyone, welcome back to our annual look at our Blu-ray collection, 2024. Yep. Part 2. Missed Part 1, go ahead and check that out. It's a lot of Disney kids movies, childhood classics. Now we're getting into
hardcore.
Some different stuff here. It's right here.
There.
Alright, sorry. Right. We have Predator. This is the Blu-ray, DVD, and 3D
Who's that man?
Blu-ray combo with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, Predator, great classic 80s action movie. Then we have, and also from the 80s, V, the original miniseries.
Not a fan.
I always liked V. V was great. One of the earlier miniseries when that idea was coming out. You need to watch this because you're gonna like this. This Canon Films, classic sci-fi. I think this is great.
I love Canon Films.
One of my favorite Canon movies. It just works for me with the space vampires. Life Force, Blu-ray,
Wraith?
DVD. Yes, they are kind of like Wraith. Yeah, and this is the edition that is restored with the full European cut as well, because there's a much shorter, I forget how many minutes shorter, but there's a US cut that was on DVD, and Laserdisc that's shorter, and I think is missing some essential stuff. But I think as far as a Canon Films, this is one of those that looks like it's a bigger budget than it actually is. I love it. And you get to see Patrick Stewart, make out with the dude, and all kinds of cool stuff. But no, this is a great
Makes out with the dude all the time.
It's a great sci-fi movie. Another, in a very different style, but we have John Carpenter's The Thing. One of the few times when a remake is significantly better than the original.
I've never seen The Thing.
The original's, you've never seen this one either?
I've never seen any things.
Are you kidding me?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So, for
It's probably
2024,
on my list.
on Amanda's movie watch list, we have, this is a 2-disc edition, the collector's edition of one of the...
You should see my list of Stefan movies that I'm supposed to watch.
It's a classic movie. Then,
it gets longer.
we have one, if you watch my channel, you'll see this again, because I'm going to do a Planet of the Apes collection, that won my poll I had up there. Planet of the Apes, the Legacy Collection, just a decent set, 5-disc set of all of the original Planet of the Apes movies. Amazing classics. Then, we have, this is the Battlestar Galactica, this is the theatrical version of the premiere of the TV series, so edited together as basically like a movie style, the beginning of the classic 70s sci-fi series. Love Battlestar Galactica.
Much better. Fantastic Voyage. I really like this movie.
It's a great movie.
I enjoy this movie so much. This is the just regular Blu-ray, I guess.
Yeah.
But I love this movie. It's so well done.
I think it's still my favorite example of exploring the human body. The way it feels almost like exploring space, but exploring inner space.
I wish
inner
you
space
could have
is good,
seen.
but that's better.
Like, Disney used to have a ride called Body Wars, and it used to be like the Star Tours. So cool. And it's just...
Yeah. It's perfect. And the effects in here, to me, look more convincing than even very realistic CG effects. They're just
it's one
like
of those
creative.
ones that I'm surprised they haven't redone that.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be, like, ridiculous.
This is great. And this is one of the few that takes time with its pacing for all the sci-fi elements. Like, it's not rushed through. It's not an action movie.
No,
it's great.
I think it would be now.
Yeah.
They would make it.
Yeah, now they would. Yeah, now I wouldn't like it.
Are you good enough?
Yes, I have the Steelbook. I love this kind of wood grainy look of the Goonies. One of my top 10 movies of all time. This Blu-ray set, like this is, I will never get tired of the Goonies. Never. Like
Never say die.
Yeah, Goonies. My whole life, ever since I was a kid. This is the 4K and Blu-ray edition. I watch this at least once a year since whenever I got my first VHS tape in the early 90s of this movie. Just one of those, for some reason, I never get tired of.
And just because we need another copy.
Part of who I am. Well, we have this is 80s triple feature. I mean, look at this triple feature. This is fantastic. You have the Goonies, Gremlins, the 25th anniversary edition of the Blu-ray, and the very strange Gremlins 2, the new batch.
I like Gremlins 2 in some ways, and then other ways it just annoys me.
Yes. Yeah,
I don't know. It's a weird relationship with Gremlins.
Yes, I like Gremlins 2 for what it is, but in comparison to like Gremlins, like it's good, but Gremlins is like a classic.
And then, because we need another copy.
Diamond Lux edition of Gremlins. I was saying how much
heavy.
I love
this. I don't like this
It's
edition.
a really cool, it's like this heavy, you open up here.
I don't like this
It's
edition.
not, it's really thick.
Plastic. It's
It's very
heavy.
interesting. It's not a design that I've seen very frequently, because normally it'd be just kind of cardboard, but it's cool, this Diamond Lux. But no, this is a great, and it's such a weird bridge between a family film and a horror film. It's such a weird.
You want to see a horror film? The next film is a horror
What's
film.
a horror film? Oh, this is what?
This scared me as a child,
The-
and I just can't get over it.
Again, this is one of there's just this little section of mostly 80s movies that just a part of who I am as a person, and I'll just watch forever. The 100th, the Universal 100th anniversary
Excuse me?
collection. Universal did a 100th anniversary
Spielberg's
for the
not that
studio, for the studio collection of E.T. And they did all these kind of digibook ones, the Blu-ray DVD combo, and all the.
I don't know. He
was
just
inside.
scared me as a kid. I just did not like him.
There's all kinds of.
I just don't.
I'll show you E.T.
The next one scares me
I
more.
love E.T. What scares you more? Oh, I know what's next. Yeah, this I gotta explain why I even have this, because this is
You do have to explain.
this is
There's no
genuinely
explanation.
one of the greatest movies ever made. Honestly, I will go to my deathbed saying that E.T. is a E.T. Like Willy Wonka. We talk about another one of the few movies I call perfect. This is not. This is trash. But I have the collector's edition Blu-ray of this trash. We have Mac and Me, the Coke and McDonald's commercial, and I just can torture you with it. It's great. When I was
If
a
I
kid,
watched that as a child, I would have nightmares to this day.
oh, it's horrifying when he is
That's
drilling through the
terrifying.
walls and you look through it was like a horror movie,
Terrifying.
and you hate his dad, the way his dad when he walks.
I
how
don't.
creepy
There's
he looks.
something wrong.
It's just a
about
cheap
it. I don't
ET
like it.
ripoff. It's a commercial for McDonald's and Coke. It's
nonsensical.
terrible movie, but I love it. This is my favorite bad movie. There are a couple of those movies. Like usually, I watch a movie and like that was bad. Maybe I got a few chuckles. Maybe it works for like a Red Letter Media or like a MST3K episode, and that's it. I'm done with it. But sometimes there's a bad movie that for some reason just tickles your funny bone. And this, ever since I was a kid, because I loved E.T.
Funny bone is broken.
I was
You're
obsessed.
German.
I was obsessed with E.T. and I wanted more movies like E.T. and they never did an E.T. 2 or whatever. So I went to the. I was saying I wanted more E.T. and I went to the video store and I rented every movie that kind of looked like E.T. and one of those was the original VHS version of Mac and Me, and ever since then I just loved it because I was just cackling on the floor as like a kid. I thought it was hilarious, and I still think it's hilarious. So
No.
I love E.T.
Don't watch it.
It's great.
You're gonna have nightmares.
It's great.
Paul Rudd
that's
would agree with
that's
you.
where Paul Rudd's clip is. But then we have this Alien anthology, which has Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection.
I think there's too many of
There's
those.
big, really only the first two I super love, and the next two I like for what they are, and after that I couldn't care less about Prometheus and all that other stuff, whatever.
They're scary.
And there's a show coming out, which is, I don't know. But yeah, the first two are classics. Not a classic,
Something
but
overrated.
interesting.
Overrated.
Well, this we have a personal connection to at least. So, but Avatar, this 3D and Blu-ray and DVD combo of Avatar, the first movie. Weirdly,
Fern Gully.
It's
Fern Gully.
this was our first real date going to see Avatar
You didn't
in theaters.
think it was.
Yeah, I didn't know it was our first date. You knew it was our first date. But so we have that connection to it, and and it was a good theater experience
Yes.
for what it was. Like, yeah, a lot of the writing was very hackneyed, and like I will never forget
Unobtainium.
Yeah, but that just I think that stays in my mind because it's a great example of the writing as a whole. But it still had fantastic, not just the visual quality, but the designs are actually really good of all the creatures, and they make sense, and from a scientific perspective and an artistic perspective, they're interesting. So I think it's just kind of a fun theater experience. A better movie. I actually was really surprised, and this made me excited for ones to come in the future. You haven't still watched this, have you?
No, I have not.
I saw this in theaters and liked it enough that I'm like, I thought this was significantly better. I thought it improved from Avatar: Way of the Water. I just thought, again, it was that fun theater experience, that visual and sound experience. But I thought, while the writing still wasn't perfect, it was significantly better than the first one. So overall, I liked it a lot more. I thought it was great.
Just watch Fern Gully.
Just watch Ferngully. One of the sci-fi classics, we have Forbidden Planet.
Never
And
seen it.
This is a good. I don't think you'd like this one. So this is not one I would put on your list for you to watch. I don't think you'd like this.
I think
But
that is on my list.
no, Forbidden Planet. I doubt. I don't think you'd like it. But Forbidden Planet is a great classic sci-fi movie. A ton of special features. That's why I like this edition, because there's a lot of great documentary stuff behind the scenes, and
What's
another
that?
great sci-fi classic. But one of those that like tonally, I can probably watch this once a decade. It just isn't one of those that
It's
I
like
go
a
back
Schindler's
to.
List. Like,
Yeah.
You have to be in the right mood.
2001: A Space Odyssey. Again, one of those classic movies that it just have it because I do go back to it every once in a while, and it is kind of a movie that I enjoy. But it's just one of those that
You know what is a
come back to
sci-fi
frequently.
classic?
What's under your? Yes.
Galaxy Quest.
That's the opposite. That is a movie that I will go back to all the time.
This you could watch all the time. You can never give up and never surrender. I love this edition of it. This is perfect.
Particularly because we're both massive Star Trek fans, and we've grown up with Star Trek our whole lives, and I think that adds an extra element. Like, it works in its own right, Galaxy Quest, but it works in a whole other way if you're a fan of Star Trek.
And I think also the generation that we are, because we didn't grow up with TOS the same way our parents grew up with TOS, but we understand all the
satire and
all of the satire and everything that goes with TOS, and the casting is just unreal. Like, they could never never find us again.
Moving on to some more sci-fi stuff. You liked what you saw this too, Ex Machina. This was a great study of like artificial intelligence in a way that it felt interesting. Didn't feel quite as generic.
It's one of the few. You don't like modern sci-fi usually
as much, yeah.
And I think there is a subgenre of modern sci-fi that we need to force you.
Yeah. Makes me watch, and I like it. Modern as in it just came out recently.
No,
but
that's not
one of my favorite movies of the year. But
no.
a return to Babylon 5. Babylon 5, the animated movie, The Road Home. It's still not. It wasn't perfect, but it was great for what it was. I really enjoyed coming back to Babylon 5, one of my favorite shows, and it was a good movie, and I think it did well. I think we're going to see more of those. I think
you made me watch this next one.
Did you watch this one? I don't even remember you watching this one.
Yeah, because I like
Mothra. I really like the original Mothra. I'm not as big of a fan of the giant monster movies, Godzilla and Kong. Like, I
don't understand the appeal to any of these.
But I really like the original Mothra, and this is a Mill Creek steelbook. This is one of the early. Now they do a ton of steelbooks, especially for Ultraman. This is one of the earlier Mill Creek steelbooks. Getting into Star Wars, we have Rogue One.
Oh.
This was really good. This surprised me when I saw this in theaters.
And the ending.
Yeah, I was surprised
Brilliant.
that they went with the tone that they did.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it made sense. Yeah, it makes sense for the story, but I was surprised that Disney allowed that to be. But yeah, this was great, and I actually think it ties in really well with New Hope.
Yeah.
It adds a lot to that. Speaking of which, we have the original Star Wars classics.
That's not the original.
I know, it's so frustrating they still aren't the original. I still don't understand. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there'll be some deal in the future with you doing the Ewok song that they stole, they took out,
I love
they
that
butchered.
song.
Yeah, there's a lot of classic movies. These are the kind of butchered versions of them, but at least,
It's weird because we only had the VHS, the old one.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know till I met you. I didn't know that they had redone them.
Because usually when I watch those movies, I do usually watch the Laserdisc or the VHS, because the DVD and Blu-ray. But and then we have, this is my favorite one, so I'm going to grab the steelbook for Empire Strikes Back. That's my favorite Star Wars movie by a lot. I know you like the first one.
No.
Star Wars, just Star Wars.
Yeah. Which one's yours?
Yes.
Let me know, because it's A New Hope.
I love Empire Strikes Back, and I have a soft spot for Return of the Jedi. I've always had a soft spot for that movie, so that's probably my second favorite. But, yeah.
You're so predictable.
The best thing to come out of Star Wars since the 1980s, we have The Mandalorian.
Another one you didn't want to watch. I had to force you.
Because a lot of the modern Star Wars stuff I really didn't like, so I really didn't want to devote time to more of it.
And you said it's not physical, so I don't want it. That's
another thing. But finally, Disney, I did unboxings for these. Finally, Disney is starting to release some of their shows physically. Their streaming stuff, realizing that that's actually a smart move. But Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2, great. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, this coming year, the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian Season 3 come out physically. Because I loved these. These shocked me at how good they were. Easily my favorite thing to come out of Star Wars.
I love the behind the scenes with the co-op of directors, which was so cool.
It was great. Loved it.
So cool.
The only one of the newer trilogy of movies that you wouldn't even own this.
No.
Force Awakens.
Not at all.
I won't talk about it at length because there's a lot to say, but for me, it was, just a cookie cutter Star Wars movie.
Yes.
But it kind of needed to be, because they needed to prove they could actually make a Star Wars movie.
And then prove that they can't.
Exactly, but that's the problem. That's why we don't have the other ones, because we both thought they were terrible. But Force Awakens, I like it for what it is. Sadly, it didn't live up to the potential that it set up. That's why I like it, because it set up. It could be a really good second and third movie. It set up. It did what it needed to do. It's just a rehash cookie cutter movie, but it's a well done, just Star Wars movie. And it's set up. Could have been, alright, we're starting at this point, now we're going to build a great trilogy, and they never did it. But
And we don't have any of the prequels.
we have them on, we have
No,
DVD set. Yeah, with DVD set, and we have the Laserdisc of Episode 1. But, yeah, prequels, they're okay. The Total Recall remake, which you like so much more than me. I mean, it's nice. It's an interesting sci-fi movie. Kate Beckinsale is great in it because she's Kate Beckinsale. Another actress you like, too.
I love Kate Beckinsale.
But, yeah, you like this one a lot more than I did.
Colin Farrell was great, too. I think it was...
It was a decent sci-fi movie. I just feel like...
I don't think it was Total Recall.
Yeah, even...
I think if you called it something else, you wouldn't even know.
Even in comparison, because you have to, like, looking at the Total Recall is a different thing every time. Like, the original story is very different from the Arnold movie, which is very different.
It was something before Arnold.
Oh, yeah, it's based off a story. We can remember it for you wholesale. Total Recall, and then this was different iteration each time. And this is still, it was decent.
This was a good sci-fi movie.
It was decent.
I enjoyed it.
You liked it a lot more than me.
Yes.
One of the classics from our childhood. We always say Men in Black is kind of like the Ghostbusters of our generation. Like kids born in the late 70s, early 80s, it's more Ghostbusters. Kids born in the 80s, early 90s is like the first Men in Black. And they're very similar films. One's just ghosts, one's aliens. I kind of agree with that when you said that. But the first Men in Black, great classic from our childhood.
Only the first. Only the first.
Yeah, it didn't, like, the animated series was okay. And the other movies is, I don't know, I didn't really need more.
Only the first?
Yeah, it only needed that one.
What's that?
Again, one of the greatest movies ever. The first Jurassic Park. We have a DVD set that has all of them, the new movies, everything. But for me, for the Blu-ray collection, only the first one's the one that we both really love.
Oh, yeah.
The other ones are more like, they're fun dinosaur movies. We like them. This is we love this movie.
Yeah,
It
which you have to be.
Yeah, this has the 3D Blu-ray and everything as a full set. That is just iconic.
And what's this next one, Stefan?
Speaking of a more modern sci-fi, there's actually 3 in here as we get into this. A couple of more modern sci-fi. Like usually, a lot of the sci-fi that I like is very 80s and back to like Metropolis, like way back. But this we actually saw in theaters, and
fantastic.
It was, and you read the book, and it was
a trilogy that was completely different thing.
You are, if you don't know Amanda Dahl, like she's a huge reader. Like she is a library fiend. Like you really are. And so for you to say you like a movie version better than its book
it's
is
not
like,
very common.
It's insane. It's like, it's mind-blowing for you to say that. And that shows you how good this movie is. This shocked me how much I loved. I really, really like this movie. This made it to my top 100 movies ever. Like,
really?
It really did. Like,
I mean, part of that is also just that lady on the cover.
Natalie Portman?
Stefan has a little thing.
But it hit a type of sci-fi. There are a couple of different types of sci-fi that I enjoy, and this will hit one vein of that for me. And I just thought it was fantastic. I really liked that a lot.
And I love that, because I could see this being a 90s, like, sci-fi, like, straight to sci-fi channel.
Yes,
thing.
yeah, it could have.
Because it's, like, all the girls, and,
but
like,
it
would not have worked.
It was a beautiful movie.
The time that it came out, this is one of those things that, like, 10 years ago, they couldn't have done it. But, like...
And even now, they couldn't have done it. Now they wouldn't have done it either. Like, there's this window in time, and also the fact that it was kind of an under-the-radar movie.
This was much more indie than I feel like it should have been.
Yeah, even though the budget. Another one that kind of did that, too, Arrival.
I think fewer people understood this one, though.
Arrival, and I loved Arrival because it was a sci-fi based on language and understanding and not shooting guns. I liked that and that pacing, and it kind of reminded me of, it's kind of like why I like a lot of Star Trek. Like that style, rather than just fighting the aliens and like gun battles. Like there's a place for that. Like I like Star Wars. I like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, Annihilation's more of a violent.
Yeah, but I like more the slower pace, like coming to an understanding and analyzing things. Just that's a fascinating.
Yeah, that one was
that was good.
I think that was much more misunderstood.
Yeah, and now we get to us. This whole pile is here.
I'm just gonna go away.
Because you detest this movie.
I'll be back.
You're not actually going away. Get lost. As far as movies, there's some that we both like, some that only she likes, some that I like. This is the point where we diverge more than anything. Because these are my top 2 favorite movies of all time, and she hates them. Totally diverge. We have Blade Runner. This is the 4K with the final cut, which is like the great complete version of this movie. We have this on every version of Blade Runner, on every format, the theatrical, European, whatever. Director's cut, the final cut, that is my favorite. That is just perfect. You're over there. This is actually a Taiwanese release of the final cut on Blu-ray. Cool, interesting slipcover. So some releases from around the world, and then the shock of my life. My favorite theatrical experience ever. Went and saw this with my father-in-law. She's over there. Like, yeah. But yeah, Blade Runner 2049. I couldn't believe they pulled off a sequel to Blade Runner. I was shocked that they did it and it worked. This is the Blu-ray DVD combo. It has like a little model kit on there as well. This is the 4K release, and then for me, this is my crown jewel of the DVD collection. My favorite release we have of anything. The disc collection. This Blu-ray set, this lenticular release from Korea with the 3D and the Blu-ray, and this is a whole set. I'm not gonna go ahead and open up here, but this is like, maybe I'll pull this out, but because she went away, she left the Blu-ray. But this is just my favorite release if I had to pick, this is my favorite movie. Blade Runner 2049, my favorite movie of all time, even beating over Star Trek stuff. But I love the different covers because you have the lenticular with that typical, the orange and blue that was popular with the style of the time. Some more cover arts on the steelbook. And then you get a whole bunch of like art cards and things in here, just a whole bunch of stuff. And then the inside of all the different versions of the movie. So this is my favorite release in this part of our collection. Just beautiful. Moving on, in a row. She's back because you like fantasy.
I like Tim Curry.
But this Arrow video release, right in a row. This is my second favorite box set. Just talking about the design of the packaging.
Why does he have to be in the movie?
I love this. Yeah, I know. Neither of us like Tom Cruise. This is one movie where he's bearable. Because
he's not in it as much.
They have all the art cards and everything here. It's this big, beautiful box set. This is one of my favorite fantasy movies of all time. Might even be my favorite, which is, I know, sacrilegious to you.
Yes.
But I love Legend. Ridley Scott. I just love Ridley Scott movies, I guess you could say. But Tim Curry as Darkness is the poster here and everything. He's the greatest depiction of like a devil character ever. Like honestly, in any movie, just amazing. But this big, beautiful box set.
Tim Curry is the best of everything.
He's incredible.
He's a gem.
But, yeah, no, I absolutely love this movie. And when this box set came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how
That's the same as the
beautiful
Hoffman?
it was. No, it's a different release.
It has the colors.
Yes, but so it's an Arrow video release. We don't get a whole lot of. Again, normally I don't spend a ton of I don't get a lot of the collector's editions. So it has to be something really special for me to actually want to get that.
Is that from like another country?
No, not the Arrow one. And we have another fantasy classic one you like a lot more.
Cause I'm a girl.
Yeah, the Bowie Bulge. We have 30th anniversary edition of Labyrinth.
Every girl's fantasy.
This is the greatest combination of that. Like I grew up with the Muppets a lot, the Muppet Show, and loving the Muppet Show, and like Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. Just were a whole nother level of that with this digibook release of that. That was just a classic, and the steelbook, this nice.
I love the steelbooks for Blu-rays.
They are really nice.
I feel like somehow they get better editions than DVDs.
Yes. And then, of course, we have Labyrinth. You have to have the Dark Crystal. Another
because
classic.
Boys are useless.
Just because they can't fly?
Yeah.
But he can read. She can't read.
She can learn to read. He can't learn to fly.
Well, that's true. But this is another classic. It's just incredible. So, like, every time you have this.
But you know what's better than that?
Never ending man.
What's her name? I don't know. I don't know what her name is. You told me her name, but I didn't, like, my whole childhood I never knew her name. Did you know her name? Because she screams it, but, like, I can't hear what she says.
Oh, I guess because they scream out the window.
Yeah, like, that was, like, I was upset as a kid.
Really? Did it? I was wondering why you're focusing on that. I was like, who, what? Yeah.
Because I could never hear what she was saying.
Never Ending Story, just, again, one of those classics from the 80s. And this is one of the few times where I really wanted to grab an Ultimate Edition. This is a Japan exclusive.
That the audio is better.
Because
the audio sucks.
It's weird. The Never Ending Story, the shift from the VHS and Laserdisc to the DVD, the sound mixing is bad on the DVD.
Which is weird.
Really weird. So this is one of the few times that they fixed it for the Blu-ray release is much better. And then this, I had to get this Ultimate Edition. This is a 3-disc set from Japan of The Never Ending Story and has several different versions, which I didn't know until this came out. There were some international cuts, some slightly different versions of Neverending Story, and this has all the different versions of Neverending Story. It has making of featurettes.
But why did the horsey die?
Oh my gosh, that Artax dying in that swamp from depression, basically.
He just gave up.
Yeah.
My parents wouldn't explain that as a kid.
Just.
But why did the horsey die?
Then.
Why?
A mediocre sequel that I have a connection to. Yeah, it is.
I like this.
It's just not as good. But Neverending Story 2, the next chapter. Yeah, this is one of those.
Movie. It's just not
as good as the first.
It's
yeah,
not
but it is one.
But it is still good.
The third one's unwatchable. No. I refuse to own that. That is unwatchable. But the second one, still a fun movie.
This is a fun movie.
You like this way more than I did.
This is a fun movie.
I grew up playing Warcraft on the PC, the original Orcs and Humans and Warcraft 2.
And I know nothing about it.
You know nothing about it, so that's probably why you like it more than I do. But the Warcraft movie, 3D...
They could have made another one and fixed all the problems, and this would be a great series.
It wasn't bad. Like, I can't say this was bad. It just wasn't great. It was just okay.
It.
You liked a lot more than
I like B fantasy movies.
Yes, which I think we're getting into now. A lot of more. The last section was a little more my movies. It's getting even more into your movies. Because you love a lot of B fantasy, but not this one. Not this
one.
But I like these for what they are. Arnold Schwarzenegger,
these are
Conan the Barbarian, and Conan the Destroyer. Very different movies, but I think underrated, fun. I grew up reading. My favorite author is Robert E. Howard. These are different kind of interpretations of that character, but still, when I first saw these movies, I was looking forward to them so much because of being, that character. But yeah, great classics.
No. This.
How do you not like this?
This is Masters of the Universe.
Yes, Canon Films. It's good.
This is entertaining.
Yeah, it's a weird one to talk. It's a weird one to talk about because as a kid, getting like, oh my gosh, a live action He-Man.
Which I never watched He-Man.
Because that's the other show I grew up with a lot, age-wise. It was, because we talked about TMNT and those movies in the other video. TMNT and He-Man, those are kind of like the two number, like 1 and 2 cartoons when I was a kid, more than even Thundercats and whatever.
No.
But as a kid, oh my gosh, we're getting a live-action
He's
He-Man.
Alive.
Wait a minute, they're on Eternia for like 30 seconds, and then they're on Earth, and like they're missing.
It costs a lot of money to be on Eternia.
They're missing like main character. I know.
It costs a lot of money.
It's one of those weird things where it's two-edged sword. One way, it's incredibly disappointing as a He-Man movie, but I also absolutely love it for what it is. They're two different categories. Del Toro, one of his best movies. I really like The Shape of Water. I don't think you've watched this one yet.
I have not watched this, but I love Del Toro.
Really good. Again, creature design stuff is fantastic. I think this is one of the best kind of more dramatic focused Del Toro movies, along with those fantasy elements and stuff.
I will not look.
The one that is genuinely a horrible movie, but with this VHS style slipcover, another Mill Creek release, we have Kull the Conqueror, the sole, I will say, the only Kevin Sorbo movie that's not just Christian propaganda. We have Kull the Conqueror. This was during the heyday of Hercules' Legendary Journeys. Exciting to get it. It's not actually a Kull movie. It was supposed to be a Conan movie, but then they changed it to the character of Kull, so it's not really Kull or Conan. It's like a weird mix. It has a weird, crazy soundtrack. This hard rock stuff doesn't fit it. It's an awful movie, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it because of being so excited to see a Kevin Sorbo, because I was a big fan of Hercules and Xena, and see a Kevin Sorbo movie in theaters.
How'd you like it?
It was terrible. But I still kind of loved it, and I still watch it, because even though it's bad, it's one of those...
I think those are so, like, you need to have, like, a sense of humor to pull it off, and Arnold can do that.
Yeah.
Because, like, what you're doing is ridiculous.
Well,
but
not the first Conan. The first Conan is very serious. It's much more tonally like
I've never seen the whole thing, so I couldn't tell you.
But no, it's not good. It's but it was it had to be the right age and the right mindset and whatever.
Welcome to Manda movies.
Yeah, you go.
This is like a subgenre that's like my favorite thing
You
ever.
like B horror movies, you like B fantasy movies.
And it's like early 2000s. Like there's a very specific
period.
It's
like a 10-year window.
And it's like my favorite thing ever.
Even horror movies, you have this like 10-year window.
Yeah, it's a very specific thing.
Stuff you'd watch at 1 in the morning on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Exactly. This is Brothers Grimm. So great. So wonderful. Matt Damon, who I always thought I didn't like, but I watch a lot of Matt Damon.
And you end up
without
liking it.
realizing
It's weird.
it.
Yeah.
But such a great movie. You agree?
It was actually a good
agree.
fantasy movie. It was a fun
Stefan
fantasy movie.
begrudgingly likes the
It was
genres
a
that I
fun
like.
fantasy movie.
Begrudgingly. This one is probably one of the weakest of the Manda subgenre. It's Van Helsing. This is the beautiful steelbook. I love this comic.
And that fits because it fits the tone of the movie.
Yes.
It is this kind of comic booky, like, but again, you have like Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale, two people really like, and that it works.
It's a romantic comedy. It's beautiful.
It's ridiculous.
You want to know what's better though?
This was funny.
This is a modern one.
This was genuinely a funny movie.
This is a modern one, and I just fell in love. This is Hansel and Gretel, witch hunters. Holy crap!
It is a crazy, violent fantasy movie that.
Oh my gosh!
But to get an idea of the sense of humor, you should check it out if you like this kind of stuff. The sense of humor.
Good.
Hansel got diabetes from eating the witch's house as a kid. It's like, it's just really funny. Like little nod things. I thought this was funny.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I was surprised how much I like that. That was funny.
Amazing.
All right, now we're getting more into like the superhero stuff.
That was superhero.
Yeah.
What the hell?
But the comic booky superhero.
That was comic
getting
books.
there. Batman, I always like. You don't like Batman as a character. I like a lot of different iterations
I like
of
the
Batman.
90s cartoon.
Yeah, that's my favorite version of Batman easily. We have a collection of like on DVD all the live action Batman movies, but had to pick out our favorite. I think this is probably your favorite too, isn't it? I think overall, I know you don't really like Batman too much, but Batman Returns.
I do like Danny DeVito.
Exactly. So you love the Penguin.
He was a great Penguin.
This will always be my favorite Batman movie. My favorite iteration, I agree with you. My favorite iteration of Batman is the '90s cartoon, Batman animated series, no question. But yeah, and I always have a special place in my heart for this campy Adam West '60s one. But this, as far as the movies, this will always be my favorite. Again, I think because I like the movies that are kind of a bridge between campy style and the more kind of dark Batman, the in between, and this works for me. So I know saying that's my favorite over like Dark Knight and all that stuff, but that's my favorite one.
I like this. It's called Hellboy. It's so good.
Some of your favorites of all time, I'd say Hellboy.
I mean, this is. How could you not love this?
Yeah.
How could you not? Oh.
And I think you said before, I think you prefer the first one.
I don't know.
I
it depends because there's
Golden Army.
There's certain things that I like.
They're both great. They're both.
And that's
equally...
another comic one, isn't it?
Yes,
that's another comic.
Pop
we have
art
like 3 of them.
Comic, yeah. But they did a bunch of these. Universal, I think it was almost all Universal films that did these.
I don't know. There's parts of the second one I like better, but
yeah.
There's parts of the first one that are just like, oh.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
But you're not. This makes me sad.
This could have been good.
This makes me so sad because I enjoy this. Mm-hmm. This is the new Hellboy, which was supposed to be a dark horror.
I think where they messed up was because they had the behind the scenes stuff and seeing the original version of the opening
obviously
of things.
Were trying not to make it funny.
If they had actually just gone and straight done a movie with very little humor, just more of this dark fantasy version, the problem is studio meddling and trying to make it more like the Ron Perlman
Why
ones,
would you try to do
can't.
that? You're
so
trying
don't
to
try.
reinvent it.
Right. So if you try and imitate something, it's going to be lesser. So don't do something different. And this is a weird mishmash because of the reshoots and stuff of something different and something that's imitating the Ron Perlman one. And the imitation parts, the forced humor, really brings it down.
And I think I don't know. I think the girl, like everything would have worked. Like if they could just do the next one.
Yeah.
I think they could fix it and it would be fine.
It could, yeah. But I think it'll never happen. But it could.
It's so frustrating. But you know what's not frustrating?
Yeah.
This next
your B
series.
Fantasy, one of your favorite series ever.
I don't consider this B. It's upsetting because people say B,
but
and
not
like
in
it's
not
not
in
good.
not in a derogatory way.
But people say it in derogatory.
Yeah, but that's stupid. But
and like Brothers Grimm is not like how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare
but it's not in a derogatory way.
This is my favorite. This is Rise of the Lycans. That's my boyfriend. I enjoy him very much. I don't know why, because in everything else he is not. But like,
he's great.
This series is just.
I love these two. Like, it's not normally my thing, but something about them, because they get compared a lot, which I think is ridiculous, to the Resident Evil movies.
Except for this one.
Which one?
Boyfriend.
No, Evolution. Evolution was pretty good.
The problem is what's his face.
Yeah.
Who I don't even know what his name is.
Evolution, but no, Awakening was kind of the weak one for me. That was the weak one for me. This cool 3D version of that though.
And then they're like, you know what? We're gonna come back and
do
it again. And
I like Blood Wars
really?
a lot.
How?
This was great.
This was amazing. Like, how did you do this? Brilliant. And they ended the and how does she look like this?
Yeah, I think she is a vampire in real life.
How is that possible?
Yeah, her and Jane Seymour, two of them, Kate Beckinsale and Jane
What
Seymour.
did you like?
I don't know,
What
but
deal
yeah,
have you
these
made?
are actually. I genuinely agree.
Had you watched that before me?
Love Underworld. I had only seen the first one before you.
Okay.
First, and I genuinely liked it, but getting into them with you and then seeing the last two in theaters when they were coming out, like
Brilliant.
Yeah, I really like those.
And I love the actual prosthetics. And
yeah,
just,
everything about it is really good.
Oh, I love the big lichen with his voice.
Yes. One of the few things that I really dislike is a lot of the modern DC stuff is so just mediocre and bland. One of the few ones that surprised me.
I just can't get into it.
This is the only one of the modern DC movies we own because it's the only.
Is it really?
It honestly is, yeah. Because neither of us have really gotten into it. I actually liked the first Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. I really like this one as a standalone thing. I don't like anything they've really done with her character since then. Like the sequel wasn't any good. Her parts in other movies, like it was just the DC stuff is just kind of floundering out there. It's just not great.
Because
but
the second something
liked.
Doesn't work well, they're like, we're gonna reboot
it again. Reboot it.
it.
I just don't care. Honestly, in the comic book movies in general, I'm not that big. But I just, for some reason, I really liked that one. I don't know why. It just kind of clicked with me. I thought it was a fun superhero movie.
Everyone's like, I love superhero movies, but they never saw the superhero movies before the superhero movies.
We have the Ben Affleck Daredevil, which was actually, that was pretty decent. And the Elektra.
I never saw Elektra.
That was, for what it was a fun...
But you know what's best?
Yeah, I know you love your League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I freaking love
I know you love that movie.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I wish they had made that series.
Yeah.
I really wish they had made that series. That was brilliant.
But just those, just kind of, again, my opinion of superhero movies is mostly that it's just a fun summer blockbuster thing. I don't think a lot. Like, it just kind of, they're fun. But
I would have gotten the Chinese bootleg box set thing that you told me I was never allowed to purchase under any
they're kind of a weird thing because, like,
we got an interesting collection.
We have, yes, of the Marvel stuff because it's just kind of like they're not favorite movies, but this was such an interesting period in time. Now it's gone on too long and I can care less, the superhero stuff in general. But the original, like, initial build-up of these Marvel movies, that was a very fun, unique feeling thing. It was like a cultural movement for a long period of time. So we have that original kind of build-up of those movies. The Iron Man collection.
I like these collections that have...
Again, so there are more, and it's also, so it's more compact. The Thor 3-movie collection.
Because for a while we were doing each individual Blu-ray
I remember, like,
DVD
it take up too much room because they're not favorite movies of either of ours. They're just kind of fun things we'll revisit.
I want to see if they're going to put the next Guardians, like if I can get all three of them.
Pack. Did you watch? I didn't watch that one. But,
I liked it. It was good.
Captain America 3-movie collection. I'm like tapped,
and the next one,
tapped out. Ant-Man, I think is the most underrated ones. He's great. I like.
The last Ant-Man was really good.
I did not see that one.
I know you did.
I am mentally just tapped out on Marvel stuff. There's too many. The Avengers movies, the 4-movie collection, which I don't know. Infinity War is better than Endgame. That much the way it ended. My least favorite one by far, Doctor Strange. I just can't get into that one. Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel.
That's my least favorite.
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Which shouldn't have been.
Black Panther.
Some of the CG was weird in that.
I think hopefully your favorite one comes out next year. Hopefully
We
get Moon Knight because they finally got WandaVision, and Moon Knight is probably the best one. WandaVision, I love like old sitcoms, and I love witches, and it was all up in my style.
And Agatha, after all.
Yeah, that's next this year.
I love Agatha. This might be my favorite Marvel movie.
I know, it's so many people. It's so funny because it doesn't appeal to really most of the Marvel movie people. But Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, basically WandaVision Part 2, which is just weird and was frustrating that it wasn't physical at first. But
this was great.
I love it because this is so much less of a standard Marvel movie. This is a Sam Raimi movie, and I think that's why it didn't appeal to a lot of the Marvel people.
The only problem is if you hadn't seen WandaVision or like any of those other movies, this makes no sense. Yeah. Which I think is the biggest problem
part
with
of the problem with Marvel stuff. Then we have Black Widow.
You actually like
I like this one a lot. People, I don't know, people don't seem to think it's that great. I thought it was just kind of a fun action spy.
Her sister's so funny. Like her family.
Yeah, good sense of humor.
We got the Mummy.
I thought that was great.
So good.
And continuing with Spider-Man, we have the Far From Home and Homecoming. I really like Spider-Man as a character, and this was a great iteration of Spider-Man. Then we have No Way Home.
That was so cool.
This was just a cool, fun experience. I know there's a lot of like logic issues with the plot and whatever. I don't care. It was just fun because I really love the Sam Raimi, the first two Spider-Man movies. I like the Andrew Garfield one. Like, I like Spider-Man in general. It was cool seeing
To have
all
them all
three
together.
versions. It just worked. It was like that fun summer blockbuster
I
experience.
just love behind the scenes. They're all so happy and
Then we
they're just
have
so beautiful.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
No, you really love Deadpool. Deadpool 3 coming out soon.
I do love Deadpool.
Deadpool 2, the super duper cut.
Yeah, I love
Just-
that one.
Deadpool is so your sense of humor. It really like nails your sense of humor. I feel like. Before all this Marvel craze, get into the X-Men movies. I love
Another
these.
franchise that went way too long.
These are good in general. Like they're hit or miss, but I like these, and I like the X-Men movies as a whole more than all the other big Marvel, big budget. Like it's little brother now, but
Well, now they're gonna like redo them or
yeah,
recast
X2,
them. I don't know
X-Men. I really like the X-Men. Like, and we grew up with that iconic '90s cartoon. So like the X-Men was like one of our superhero things. The Last Stand,
I'm hoping they do different
the Wolverine.
ones, like different characters. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'd
we'll
like
see
to
what
see
they do.
Gambit or
And
Rogue.
they
Not
kind
Rogue.
of did an okay job, like
Jubilee.
like First Class doing the semi reboot as it's been a long time. And the actors are older and stuff. They did really good. They were pretty good. Apocalypse, and I say that, and then Apocalypse comes up. This is not a very good one, but it was okay. This might be the best one. Days of Future Past and the Rogue cut. I don't know why the theatrical cut exists. I mean, obviously because it was in theaters, but I'm saying initially, like, why wasn't the Rogue cut? Because it feels so necessary, and it connects to those first three films so well. The relationship with Logan and Rogue, that is just the perfected version of this. Might be the best X-Men movie. This is great. That was a great movie. Then we have Dark Phoenix, which, how did they miss one of the most iconic X-Men storylines twice?
Why?
They did it twice.
It's never done right.
It's
I
never
don't
done right.
I don't.
It was done
like
okay in the animated series. It's just too short. It was just too short. But that's better. Somehow they messed that up.
I feel like
twice.
Jean is like, she
I
gets
don't know.
way too much.
I know you don't like Jean Grey.
I
but,
do not.
Logan. This is This
It's sad.
this might be my Days of Future Past might be my favorite, but Logan's the best one.
Cry.
And this is a
Sad.
cool one. It has the
Sadness.
DVD Blu-ray combo, and it has Logan Noir, like black and white kind of redone. It's a really cool way of experiencing Logan. Then we move into a different form of movie, Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
the at the time Complete Adventures. This beautiful steel book with
That is all you need.
the three. Well,
That's it.
well, no, this also includes Crystal Skull.
Then take that out. Because all
But
you need are the first
includes
three.
three of the greatest adventure movies ever made, and then the Crystal Skull are in this pack. The Complete Adventure, and then the recently Dialed Destiny.
I don't even want to watch. Like, I don't care.
It's not
I
great.
just don't care.
It's not great. It's not. We'll never live up to those three classic movies, but it's better than Crystal Skull. Give it a better send off than Crystal Skull.
I really want to see, like, Indiana Jones be old and.
It's,
Like, I don't want
know.
to see that.
I like it. Harrison
just makes me
Harrison
sad.
Ford does grumpy old man better than anybody.
Because he's been doing it for like 40 years.
The Ultimate Collection. I love this
This is
steelbook.
beautiful.
The Mummy.
There's another, like, Men in Black. If you're a 90s
The right
kid,
age. Yeah. We see the bumper stickers all the time. About,
I would
like,
have relations
Yeah,
with
and
any of these people.
the
in
whole
this movie.
cast. That 1999 Mummy movie was just something. It was just iconic for people our age bracket. It's just weird.
And our parents don't understand.
Don't get
Nobody
it.
understands.
Younger siblings aren't super into it. Like, they like it, but it's not. Every person, like all our friends, like everyone that we really know around our age group, seems to just be obsessed with that movie.
That was my profession. I
Yeah.
wanted to be a librarian in that library.
Yeah,
That was it.
yeah, but this includes all three of those movies and this first Scorpion King, which first Scorpion King was just kind of okay action movie, but it did tie in well to the story of the second movie.
Oh yeah, it was fine.
Like, that was fine. Third movie, it was just sad they couldn't quite pull it together. But that first one is an absolute classic. So the 4K of that, one of the very few 4Ks in our collection, the 1999 Mummy, just brilliant. Love that movie.
yes.
One of my favorites that you did not like. I like Zorro. I watched some of the old, like the TV show, and I have some of the classic movies, like the Douglas Fairbanks, the silent movies. But it might be crazy to say, given all the Zorro out there, this is my favorite Zorro. Don't pay attention to the sequel, because that is the most horrendously written garbage I've ever seen. But The Legend of Zorro, this, just with Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones,
Why do you have to say her name like
I don't know. But, this is just so much fun. So much fun. I was just watching the Laserdisc of that a few days ago, because this is so much fun.
that? You know.
This is.
You know what's fun?
This is.
You know what's fun?
It's okay.
Get out of here.
It's okay.
It's called Dead Mind. This is another Amanda subgenre.
your 1 o'clock in the morning on Sci-Fi Channel type movie. It's
Yeah.
exactly what that is.
This is one of those like international movies.
Yeah.
I do like a lot of international.
You like a lot of movies
Like-
where it's filmed here, but like some of the cast is from the U.S., some is from Japan, some is
And
from
the director's
Germany.
from somewhere
So, yeah,
else.
the director's from Italy. Like all these like.
I feel like that's just a '90s thing because everybody gets together. You get the team
It's
together.
your vibe,
Everybody's
yeah.
working
But,
together. This is a great movie.
It was a fun
This is
action horror
so
kind of
cool.
yeah.
And so creative.
Yeah, it was interesting.
But it
premise,
seems
it's,
like it seems
it's
like a
sci-fi
sci-fi
channel
original
movie.
movie.
Yeah, that's what you like. Yeah.
That's what it seems
That's
like.
what you like.
And that's what it is. And it's beautiful.
One you would not like, but I think is a great. This is a great
I don't know why
dramatic
we're on
movie
this.
because it's fantastic. Angelina Jolie again, one of my favorite actresses. We have Those Who Wish Me Dead. Just this was a fun like this as far as like fighting fires in the forest and running away from murderers and just it was great, fun, great drama, great action, fantastic. Speaking of Angelina Jolie, I grew up playing the Tomb Raider games on the PS1. Those were some of my favorite games. So that combined with Angelina Jolie, I gotta love the Lara Croft Tomb Raider movies. They're such cool, just like pulpy, just fun, just great. The first one, the second one I think is better. I think it's a little better constructed overall, but they're just a blast. If you love that character and you grew up with those games and things, great. Then moving on to the only Luc Besson film I really enjoy. I know some people love.
This is inappropriate.
Fifth
It makes me uncomfortable.
Fifth Element is okay, but Leon the Professional and this Steelbook with young Natalie Portman, like it's crazy the performance she gives for someone her age. But this is the full cut version, the U.S. initial cut, which is not the common one you find anymore, but it kind of changes too much of the movie. But this is the full version of just a great movie.
I just feel like that's such an inappropriate movie.
Well, the
own.
director's a little inappropriate.
Everything
but
about that movie just
I
seems
do like how
dirty and gross.
Jean Reno kind of fought against some of the director's decisions to where he would have made it, Luc Besson would have made it a little more pedophile-y, and they fought a kind of pushback.
I don't know.
It's very interesting hearing some of the commentary. Hearing some of the commentary.
I don't feel right about
'Cause
having
it's-
that.
yeah.
I don't think we should own that.
It's a good movie.
No.
Really good movie.
I've never seen this
First-
next one.
One of the few, actually I think the only movie my dad took me to see in theaters, just the two of us. Air Force One, Harrison Ford. It's just a great thriller. It's a fun thriller, but I have a lot of memories attached to it, so it makes it kind of greater in my mind. The extended cut of Sucker Punch. This is interesting.
This is
interesting
why
movie.
it's important to make a trailer actually show what the movie's about, because
Yeah,
this was a decent movie that they just screwed up.
If you know what you're getting into, it's kind of white, and especially the director's cut is a big improvement.
It's a
big
decent
improvement.
movie. They just like completely lost
Yeah.
the plot.
Another 80s classic, great mix of the action and the comedy and the mysticism and just a lot of just general fun. Big Trouble in Little
I
China.
feel like that was on TV all the time.
All the time, yeah. That is just absolute classic.
I've seen parts of that a billion times.
That's my favorite John Carpenter movie. Just the only one of the series, and I'm gonna get some hate. The only one of these I care about.
Is this a Christmas movie?
No, that's stupid. Just because something takes place around that, for something to be a Christmas movie, Christmas has to be relevant to the plot.
Do you agree?
Die Hard, Bruce Willis. I think it's the stupidest.
I've never actually seen this movie.
I think
so
that
I
is
can't
the
tell you.
stupidest like random discussion that's come up over the past. I don't know. It seems like the past 5 years.
Stefan's
randomly.
very passionate about this.
That's stupid.
I enjoy setting him
That's
off.
stupid. The first Die Hard, great movie. I don't really care about any of the others. Like this is just a great standalone action movie for me. I thought it was great, but I don't care about the rest. A much more fun action movie, a better action
This
movie.
is
The
ridiculous.
over-the-top insanity of Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is a lot of fun.
I feel like most of his movies, they have this.
It's just crazy fun.
It's just ridiculous.
Then we have this really nice collection. I love these big kind of space-saving Blu-ray collections of 6 different Arnold movies, and the variety here is off the charts. It's just weird.
It's
You have
very weird.
Terminator 2, not Terminator 1, but Terminator
I like
2.
Terminator 2 less than Terminator.
You like one better?
I like one better.
I think I like one better too overall. But it has T2, so it has some classic Arnold stuff with Terminator 2, Red Heat, which it's a great Arnold playing a Russian, and like it's funny. Red Heat's great, and Total Recall, my favorite Arnold movie of all time. Then it has some newer stuff, The Last Stand and Maggie, and the great Hercules in New York.
That was ridiculous.
Which,
That's
thankfully,
so
this
ridiculous.
Blu-ray, because some of the VHS versions were the dubbed one, which cut out all because it's not a good movie. It's a terrible movie.
Terrible
But
movie.
It's hilarious when you have the original, like, Arnold's voice track and stuff.
His name is Arnold Strong.
Yeah, Arnold Strong in the credits, but so that's a weird collection of Arnold movies.
What is this?
And then last one for this part, one that I really like. Sometimes there's some just kind of, I don't know, this like kind of bubblegum goofy stuff that I like. So Charlie's Angels, the first of those movies with Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu and Cameron Diaz. I really like the original 70s series. That's one of my kind of junk TV type stuff. Like, you always have these, there's always the deep think intellectual stuff that you get into and the dramas. And then there's the kind of, I just want to relax and have some fun with something goofy. Charlie's Angels is one of my favorites of those, and the first one of those movies was great.